Hi, Matthias. Welcome back to
How are
MovieJunk.
you?
How are you?
I'm absolutely fantastic. Thanks for having me again. How long has it been?
It's been over a year. I think it's a
It's
little
been
over
over a
a year and
year.
a half now, almost 2 years.
Oh, probably the last time from Las Vegas.
Yes, yes. And yeah, I was really excited that we were able to get our first session and have been itching to get you back. And
Oh, thanks.
we have action legend Matthias Hues making his return back to MovieJunk. Fans have seen your work in all-time classic action films such as Dark Angel, Kickboxer 2, No Retreat, No Surrender 2. You fought the likes of Dolph Lundgren, Bolo Yeung, Billy Banks, and so many more. The list is endless. I can't thank you enough for coming back to our show today.
Oh, absolutely. It's been a pleasure as well. It's been fantastic doing all these movies.
And
So,
and part of the reason we've been trying to get this, rescheduled again, right? You've been traveling the world. We never know where you're at. Where are you based today?
well, I'm in Germany a couple more days, then I head back to the States. And then from there I go to Italy to do a horror movie. And then I'm set to do a movie in Thailand after that. And yeah, you trying to stay busy.
And if I'm not mistaken, you also recently filmed a film called The Last Kumite, which the
Last Kumite, yeah, that was a very interesting project. Um, it was spearheaded by a YouTuber, bunch of YouTubers really, that are 80, 90 fans. And one of them has a channel similar to yours, but he's more into basketball, but he had a side channel and talking about movies, especially the 80s and 90s. And he just created another channel. It's called Sean Low TV. So he's talking about, he's a real fan. And we had a interview like this, and he said, man, I really would like to, wouldn't that be great? We would do another blood sport type of film. And a couple weeks later, he called me and he says, I'm just going to produce one. And I thought, oh, wow, that's interesting because he's a YouTuber, costs a lot of money. And he says, yeah, I have a little bit money saved and we'll do a Kickstarter campaign and blah, blah, blah. So anyway, one thing led to another. And he talked to many other YouTubers, Oliver Harper, Jason Brand, and Viking Samurai. And they put the word out, and we had a Kickstarter campaign, and they raised, I think, quite a lot of money, a couple hundred thousands. And then suddenly, the film companies got wind of it. That all the old timers are back to do this blood sport type of film, and they all called and invested money in the film.
Amazing.
So basically, it sold like hotcakes before we even started shooting it.
That's amazing. Yeah, right. I mean, we
Yeah.
have some real, legends. Obviously we have yourself join the cast. We have
Yes.
Muhammad Casey, Abdel Casey,
Yeah.
David, the son of Bolo Yeung as well.
Very right. Yes.
So yeah, I
We
mean, and
we
there's
have
more.
Peter Rothrock, Billy Blanks, Matthias Landwehr, which you may not know yet, but he's a German action star. He was the lead. We had a beautiful action woman from France, Munya. She's a stunt woman slash actress who worked in all big A movies, all kinds of A movies. Um, so we had an amazing team. Then actually we have I don't know, Viking David Kurtzov from Viking Samurai.
Yeah, I've been a fan of his podcast. I've been following
Oh,
him probably even before I even started my own podcast because he talks about all the films that I grew up with and love. So
yeah,
I get a
yeah,
lot
he does a good
of
job, right? Yeah.
awesome.
So he kind of put the word out, and then one of the cast members fell out. So Sean casted him as one of the fighters, and he did a hell of a job, I have to tell. Really good fighter, really good acting. So that was his acting debut. And yeah, it was really, really interesting. I mean, basically all of us, not all of us, but Mohammed Kishi and his brother, these are all old legends, Billy Blanks, myself, Cynthia Rothrock, we all back together in this team. And it was interesting to have Bolo Yeung's son there, who kind of like looks like young Bolo, you know,
Yeah.
incredible body, ripped, great martial artist, very nice guy, you know. So and we had I mean, it was a great shoot. It was great chemistry. We have our director. He shot Undisputed, Kickboxer Retaliation. So he's a total pro, right? He shot a lot of Scott Adkins movies. So all of that, it looks really phenomenal. The film looks good. I saw the film. It looks fantastic.
And
Yeah.
you play a character named Ron Hall, right? Are you able
Ron
to?
Hall, yeah. He's the bad guy. So typical bad guy, you know, like former fighter that kind of like had a bad reputation and then sort of retires, and then he puts up those Last Kumite fights, but he hates everybody because he's a disgruntled fighter, you know. And yeah, he takes in order to get those fighters come to um Bulgaria, he kidnaps their families, you know, and then you have to fight or lose your family member, you know, that type of thing. But it's really, really, it sounds like a very simple premises, but there's a lot going on in that movie. A lot of great fighting scenes, incredible training scenes. Uh, you'll love it. A lot of fighters. We had fighters from all around the world. Every fighting style, kung fu, wrestling, kickboxing, you know, MMA, as dirty cat fighting, the whole thing was there, you know.
And no worries if you can't share details now, right? But one of my favorite fight scenes with you is in TC 2000 where you're fighting Bolo Yeung. Is
Oh
there
yeah.
any chance of coming full circle and seeing you fight David in this film, or you can't share that yet?
No, yeah, but I'm not fighting him because the story is built that I'm the bad guy who doesn't participate in the tournament,
Yeah.
but I have a beef to pick with Billy Blanks. So
Okay.
because we are old adversaries in this movie, and then there's a showdown between him and me. Yeah.
Perfect. Perfect. So I'm excited, definitely excited to see that.
Yeah.
And given, this started, sort of as an indie project, was there,
Mm.
did you act as a producer as well, or did you come in with any
No,
suggestions?
no, I just try to help, you know, as much as I could because I know all the actors, so I could give them a call and say, let's all do this, and we agreed on the financial terms that
Mhm.
nobody is getting less or more, you know.
Yeah.
We we intended to have some more large names, you know, but not everybody could come. We wanted Don Wilson, Richard Norton, um, Lauren Avadon, we wanted him, but a lot of times scheduling problems to tie everybody down to a particular date
Yeah.
wasn't very easy, you know. So we have a good cast, but we're aiming for even more. And I say we because Sean Lowe, the producer, he kind of picked my brain, you know, because that's where I'm from, that genre. And I loved helping him, but I'm not a producer. No, no, it's his baby. He wrote the script, he produced it,
Yeah.
did a hell of a job. You know,
I
imagine someone with a YouTube channel.
and it's inspiring, right? For, folks, like,
I think so. Yeah,
it's super inspiring to see. And, I'm
yeah,
excited to see it. And, we recently interviewed Muhammad Kisi on our podcast, and
that's
we
right.
talked about it a bit too. So I'm excited to
Mhm.
see him. I'm excited to see his brother Abdul, who is Attila.
That's Attila, yes, absolutely. Two legends. They are so much fun. I mean, I was with Michelle and we played together in this movie. We are partners in that film.
oh, wow.
And yeah, he's with me, the bad guy. And oh, we talked nonstop about the old days because we both came to LA the same time. Him and Van Damme and myself. We were there. They were a year earlier, but I arrived a year later. And we both, as well, Michelle and Van Damme and myself, had the same struggles and um, attempts to make it in the movies. We compared our stories and we were like, oh my God, this is exactly what I went through too. And we had the same stories with canon films, with Menachem Golem, with the casting people. We were going for the same, we were aiming at the same time. I didn't know, and I did not know actually that, with Van Damme, he turned down No Retreat, No Surrender.
Yeah.
I got the role because he got himself in line for Bloodsport.
Yeah.
He got a deal with Menachem Golem, and then he kind of got out of, and that opened the door for me. Interesting enough, my first movie, and he went on to do Bloodsport. So, and there's so many stories about that. That's incredible. Mohammed told me so many interesting stories, was very an interesting time, and how people get into the film industry is just crazy. It's not easy. It was never easy, and it will never be easy. Van Damme stories are great. This is just wow. I mean, so many. It's almost lucky to not luck. It's the right place, right time, pushing, having the connections, the right friends. Like Mohammed, I think, was very vital in the entire Jean-Claude Van Damme career in the beginning. They were best friends. They helped each other. And I told Mohammed, I wish I would have had a friend like you, because when you're there by yourself, you have nobody to. A lot of times you're discouraged, you're intimidated, you want to give up. But there were two people that constantly kept pushing each other, so that was good, and I liked to hear it. I like to hear the stories because it reminds me of my own struggle at this time. You come from another country, you don't speak the language, you don't have money. How are you going to make it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Did your paths cross? Did you guys meet each other, in the
never,
early?
never knew he existed. Never heard of him,
Yeah.
because it's just, I heard of him the first time with No Retreat, No Surrender. I didn't know who he was
Yeah.
because he became famous afterwards.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting thing. We have Kurt McKinney from No Retreat, No
I
Surrender.
saw.
Yeah, he's also in Last Kumite, and he did the first movie with Van Damme.
Yep, the first one.
Yes, and that was a wonderful movie. Has a lot of fans.
Mm-hmm.
And already there, Van Damme showed his capabilities, and his. But you see, one movie's not enough. I mean, you literally had to do Bloodsport, and Bloodsport was on the shelf for a long time.
Yes.
So they didn't. I mean, you probably heard the stories. So it's not a shoe-in, You gotta really fight hard, believe in yourself, go back and push. You know.
Yeah, even the story where, because Van Damme was initially cast as the Predator, right? So he was in the suit, and
Oh, yeah. That's all crazy stuff. Yeah.
it's amazing. And from what I've heard, right, there's a few different versions of the story, but apparently, he decided that he didn't want to do that role because he wanted his face to be exposed. So no one really knew it was Van Damme. But initially the concept was it was supposed to be a fighting style of Predator. And I think that version would have been really cool, right? But we all came to love the version of the Predator that we saw, later on the road.
Right. So I don't know, I know where they filmed it, and I filmed at the same location, Conan, the TV series. It's
Yep.
so miserable there. It's so hot. It's in the jungle. That I don't even know how anyone can be in that suit and do it. And it's very dangerous, And Van Damme, uh, he could do it. They were looking for someone that is an athlete that can do the jumps and the kicks, It's not for everyone. Yeah, actually, there's different versions. So I know another version, but I'm not sure if I'm supposed to tell it, I forget. Mohammed told me so many things that I don't even know if it's public or not. But bottom line is that he ended up quitting the film or got fired or whatever it was, and did Bloodsport.
Yeah, and I saw it in an interview where Carl Weathers, it might have even been Viking Samurai's interview, but with Muhammad Kisi, where Carl Weathers, right, Apollo
Mhm.
Creed, had suggested that they get fired rather than quit.
Yeah,
Um,
that's the story I heard too. Yeah,
yeah, yeah. So, which was, I think a better way to go about it from what was
and
said.
it takes a lot of guts to do that. We're talking about Joe Silver there,
Yeah,
the as the producer, and he can be very mad and larger than life, and he can ruin your life in Hollywood. So
yeah.
you got to have a lot of guts to fake that.
And the I do
Oh,
want.
1 second.
Oh yeah,
I'll be right back.
of
Okay.
course.
Okay. Go. My dog wanted to go out.
No worries, no worries. I do want to jump into Dark Angel, which I grew up knowing it as I Come
I
in
know.
Peace.
I
And
come in peace. Yeah.
this was the film that first introduced me to you. I
Mhm.
grew up loving this movie, was a huge fan of Dolph Lundgren as well, and knowing him from Rocky IV as this larger than life figure,
No,
to
no.
see another figure that was more larger, taller, more imposing to go up against him was just something that we weren't introduced to, right? And
I see. Yeah, at that time, yeah, because yeah,
so that was amazing. And I know we spent, quite a bit of time talking about I Come in Peace on our last interview, but you flirted with the idea of a sequel that was in the works. Has there been any progression since the last time we talked?
no. We were close a couple of times with MGM. The rights always get sold and sold again now. I think I don't even know who the rights are with right now. Whoever bought MGM, I think, but was someone has it, and I think MGM is still existing and has it, as
Mhm.
far as I know. Or Warner Bros. Who knows? Without the rights, you can't do it really. And last thing, we submitted it to MGM, and then suddenly that uh, vice president of whatever, I think he was the vice president, he left the company. So no luck so far. I have a script. Dolph, I don't think he has read it, but it's a wonderful story. I love it. It would be perfect for Dolph, that's for sure. For myself too, it's like to be shot in Sweden, in the snow, and it's kind of a cool story. Did I tell you the story yet?
Yes, but I'd love to hear it from the man himself.
Yeah, no, I mean it's like it's years later. Dolph is 1 year short of retirement, and they got rid of him. He's now basically a sheriff in a Texas town, hunting chicken thieves. Has nothing to do, but he still is in the computer, always looking at alien stuff, conspiracy theories, because he knows this was for real, but it's being pushed aside. He's got 1 more year shy of retirement, so everybody's like, keep calm, forget about this shit. And then there's some kids in Sweden, they go on a ski trip and they stumble on the black side, American black side, forgotten. And they find shelter in the snowstorm, and then they kind of like make it by accident down all the way in the 10th floor. You know how those
Mhm.
bunkers are,
Yeah.
because one of those Swedish kids works there part-time as a security guard because nobody cares about that site anymore. And then they stumble on a whole bunch of aliens down there, hanging, all broken ones, including myself. I'm like, exploded basically. And stupid enough, they kind of activate the whole system and free us. And then basically I'm escaping, but I'm only like burned half of it, can't walk a straight line, still shoot the discs, but they go AWire. But I still can kill a lot of people, and I have a whole bunch of people with me. And we invade this Swedish countryside, kill a lot of people. And then the police in Sweden finds out about it, obviously, but they need to keep it hush hush. And then Dolph finds out about it in the internet, conspiracy theories through
Wow.
girl, woman. he flies over there 1 year shy, and then, oh my God, Dolph is at it again. They sent the people after him. So we're all chasing the bunch of crazy aliens killing everybody in Sweden, and nobody is supposed to find out. But it's campy, but a lot of action in it. A great role for Dolph, because it's Sweden, he can go home, play
Yeah.
the cop, and his sidekick is this time another Dolph Lundgren young guy lookalike.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and they obviously don't get along in the beginning,
Yeah.
because the other cop doesn't believe in aliens. So
Yes, yes. Yes, sort of paralleling the relationship that he had with his first partner, but
right.
this time it's a partner that maybe he's more, let's say, intimidated by, because he wasn't scared
Yeah, because it's
of
a
the other.
younger guy looking like him.
Yeah, yeah. So no, I definitely like this idea. It sounds like there's a lot of room for action in this story, and also for his character, right? I mean, it's been 30 years where he thinks that he cracked this case, and now it's his worst fear is being met by being reunited by his old, especially if he sees. And is your character a central part, or is it a
No, he's a
bunch of your?
central part.
Yep.
Yeah, and it's just he also recuperates over time.
I was gonna say yes.
Yeah, it turns out that there's a little girl. He gets so injured. He's so fucked up. Sorry, screwed up, injured. And then he ends up in a barn in the countryside, and there's this little girl that actually has a incurable blood disease, and she saves him more or less into the barn with the tractor, pulls him in there because she's a young girl. It's like, oh my God, who are you? This and that. And she cuts herself, and that blood goes into his wounds. And it turns out that is kind of like regenerating him. That's like something, what's on our planet, that disease is a healing factor for me, and then I slowly get my strength back. But never the full Mountie. The thing is, because I'm older now, so I can't do the same things that I used to be able to do. So I'm always going to be a bit like handicapped, still powerful, but not as. But there will be others that also were basically caught at one point
Yep.
and imprisoned, that work for me. Uh, that'll be, I will cast some really good looking, strong, strapping aliens.
Definitely, definitely. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
and I feel, definitely we're not getting as many action films like we used to, right? Back in the 70s, 80s, and even 90s, right? And actually, even in the 2000s, we were getting, so even if they were not coming out to theater, but it sounded like we were getting a lot of action movies that were coming out to Blu-ray and DVD that were really good quality as well, too. So definitely I hope that we could still get, these sort of films created, and then also being able to see that this is something that, like I mentioned, is a cult classic and there's a fan base. But speaking of you saying that you're a little bit older now, you teased us with a scene, with it was kind of like a short, maybe like a year ago, where it looked like you were dressed up as the alien. It was like a
Oh,
four
yeah,
5 minute scene that you had shot, and you look like you didn't miss a step. Do you remember what I'm referring to?
yeah. That was just a little teaser. I'm not sure if
That
I
was
should.
awesome.
Yeah. Thank you. I mean, yeah, I can still do. I What I can't do is certain things like running over these cars at this point because I had 2 knee surgeries. But no, I can do a lot of things. Yeah. But I mean, the fact is we are getting older. Dolph too. So we all, but we still have, yeah, we still can do it. Like Stallone and Schwarzenegger. The career is long. And talking about films 80, 90 style, right? Um, I have a few in development, not just Dark Angel, some that are going to be shot before that are almost greenlit right now. One in particular, you'll love it. I mean, anybody that likes action will love this movie. It's called The Widower, you know, and it's about a rugby player that is a rugby coach, now older, myself, and he has an awards event in a 5-star hotel in London with his beautiful wife. So he goes there You know, he's a very wealthy man. His life is good. He's older. He accomplished everything. He gets the trophy, the ceremony. He's all happy. He drives home with his Range Rover. He doesn't live in London, so they're just visiting. And then they got there's a detour, you know, and he goes the detour, and they end up in a very shitty part of English suburbs. And they have a daughter in the hotel room, and she has the flu, so they're stopping at a 7-Eleven-ish liquor store, and the wife just hops out. It's raining, it's English, bad weather, to get Benadryl. And then what happens is she's at the wrong place at the wrong time. And there's a Jamaican gang, you know, the Yardies that run the neighborhood, very bad people. Anyway, they kill her. I'm trying to save her. They rob the store. They kill her, rape her. I get beaten. My character, the widower, gets beaten to an inch of his life, basically almost crippled. The wife is dead. So he decides to let it all go his entire life. His daughter that he has basically goes to boarding school, and he moves across the street from that liquor store and wants to revenge the death of his wife. But he's a businessman. He's not a fighter. He used to play rugby, but he's older now and he's completely broken his body. And it happens so that next door there is this girl living. She's an escort, like a street girl, drug addicted, and she's from the hood, and she has been forced by these Yardies to work the street, you know, and they have put her father in prison. I mean, it's a hard life, you know. Anyway, they befriend each other, and she also has a bone to pick with the Yardies, so she teaches him the ways of the street. And
Oh, wow.
yeah, but it's like the professional in reverse, where this young girl, the same age as his daughter, teaches him to become a street guy. So
That's
it
what I was
happens.
envisioning. I was envisioning Leon, the professional.
Yeah, it's exactly like it, except the other way. And it happens so that her dad used to be a bare knuckle fighter who has an old abandoned gym because he's in jail.
Oh,
So they go
wow.
there, she teaches him all this fighting, and then she sends him out to England, I mean, to these shitty places, and he has to beat regular people, you know, the wankers first, you know, the
Yeah.
horrible people there. And then they become this really close friends. She stops doing drugs. She becomes a better person. You know, they bond with each other. And after he's ready to actually take on the Yardies, who live in a huge compound, you know, in an abandoned high-rise building, he's ready to confront them. They realize this is not going to change their life. They're not going to go through with it. But by then the Yardies know of it, and they kidnap the girl, the one that taught him all of it. And so he has to go through with it, you know. And then it's just he goes to the compound and he's obviously annihilating everybody there, you know, one fight after the other. But the ending I can't tell you. But it's like action nonstop, plus this it's more like it's like The Professional. It has the relationship is really good between these two, you know. It's also a drama. And we have a producer attached, Bay Logan, who produced Kickboxer. So many films he produced, you know. What's that? His last movie is Furies. It's on Netflix.
And this is already in pre-production. You guys are scheduled to shoot soon.
Yeah, we were supposed to shoot November 20th, but a few things happened that pushed it back. Hopefully now next year, you know.
Yep.
Yeah, we still casting the girl, looking for the right girl. Has to be the most important. She's so important. It's like a Natalie Portman. We need someone like that. That will be a big star, you know.
If you guys need a Yardie gang member that you want to beat up, I'm good to go.
Absolutely, yeah.
If you want someone to beat up, I'm right here.
You might be too good looking, so you know, Yardis are Jamaicans, actually.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Well, sometimes, you know, I can grow my hair out.
Yeah, exactly.
I used to have an afro.
Yeah. Anyway, we excited. Bay Logan is excited, you know. we have one major producer, I don't want to say it yet, who did A-list movies in Hollywood, so he wants to come on board. So it's going to be a bigger thing, yeah.
Amazing.
Aiming to have a good bad guy, you know.
Definitely, definitely. So again, between The Widower, the Last Kumite, and also too, there's a few more movies that you've been working on that we're excited to see. I did also want to ask, because it's the last action movie that I saw in theaters, the Expendables 4. Did you get a chance to see it?
Not yet, no. Um, I just, with my mother at the moment, I couldn't get out of the house. But as soon as I'm in LA, I will go see it. How do you like it? Was it good?
I really enjoyed it. I was a
Yeah.
little disappointed by the reviews because I don't think the reviews did the movie
Mhm.
justice. I
Yeah.
really enjoyed it. Again, this was more of a Jason Statham character story. It was more focused on his character, but I thought it was funny. I thought the action scenes were good. The story was constantly going
Yeah.
forward. Um,
Yeah.
you'll be entertained. You'll be
Oh,
entertained now.
good. Yeah, I'm definitely want to see it. And I was disappointed to hear about a lot of people had bad things to say about it. I'm a fan of their franchise. I'm a fan of most of these actors in there, you know. So I can't wait to see it. It's probably entertaining, regardless.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I'd be the first one to say, like, there's been some movies that I'm like, this is just, and again, I know there's a lot of work that goes on into a movie, and you have to be appreciative of all the hard workers that
Right.
go in. So there's movies where I'm like, this movie is just god awful. But The Expendables 4, the whole time I was on my seat, I was laughing a lot. I was like, man, that was funny.
You
And there
saw it in the theaters, yeah?
and it was gory too. There was some brutal kills in this
Oh,
movie.
wow. Um, who had the best role in it? Jason Statham, you say?
Jason Statham was the lead, and so it was more focused on his character. Stallone is in it as well too. He sort of sets the tone for the story, and so yeah, I mean, basically, without giving some spoilers, Jason Statham is kind of taking on the Stallone role, at least in the beginning of the film,
Okay.
and is kind of seen as a kind of a an outlier amongst this team. Kind of gets
Uh,
trying to not spoil it though, but yeah, basically he does something that upsets the team, and he sort of has to go rogue in order to unite and having to save the rest of the squad. They end up needing him in order to accomplish their mission. And
mhm.
yeah, so there's a lot of action. There's a lot of funny parts. I don't know why I'm forgetting the name of the actress
Uh,
that his
yeah.
girlfriend,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
but she took over, and the girl from Transformers, she did really well too. But I think
Meg Ryan, no, no. Meg-
I was gonna say
Megan Fox.
too,
Megan Fox.
but Megan Fox.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So Megan Fox takes over because this is about 10 years from the last Expendables. I know Jason Statham had a on and off relationship with a wife, so basically he's moved on to Megan Fox. And yeah, so seeing their chemistry is really fun. Jason Statham does an amazing job in this film.
Yeah, he's always good. He always delivers. He's Jason Statham. Um, how was Dolph? He's in it too, right?
Dolph did really good. So he's from the original crew. It was Dolph Lundgren, Randy Couture,
Uh-huh.
Jason Statham, Sylvester Stallone. Those were the original members,
Okay.
and
Okay.
he was good, right? So they were kind of emphasizing that he's a little bit older. He's got his glasses on because he's a sniper, right? He has to be
Oh,
accurate.
that's right. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But he's got his glasses on now to make sure that he's still on target. Randy Couture does a really, really good job, but I love seeing Dolph. I mean, he doesn't lose a step. He's great in the role,
Yeah.
and we as fans, I think we need one more. I think they should end it with Expendables 5,
Yeah,
and
they can do it, you think? Okay, good.
just do
And they're
one.
probably going to do it.
Well, also too, I think with Stallone, no, this was during the time he was filming Tulsa King, if I'm not mistaken. So I think
Ah,
there's some scheduling issues around maybe why he may or may not was able to be in the film for the full role, because his role is a little bit smaller than what we're used to. But
okay.
enough to where, like, you know what, he's still
You
kind of
still
making part. Yeah.
okay. Cool. I love it.
Hopefully we can get one final one, Expendables 5, and we get hopefully I've always wanted to see you in an Expendables film. I think you'd be great on the villain side, and having you and
I'd
Dolph
love to.
come across each other.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's up to the producers, if they have to see it, you know. Um, Nothing I can do. Someone has to see it, Yeah. I don't know how these things work. Someone has to go to them and say, "Oh, by the way, how would you think? What would you think?" It's like that when you're in this business, you run across producers that happen to be fans of Dark Angel or something, and for them, you all run in an open door, like with the Widower, Bay Logan and the other major producer. I don't want to talk about it. They love Dark Angel so much. For them, it's like, oh, okay, let's do this. So it could be that at New Image, that the producers there missed Dark Angel. Never were, some people or some of my films, they didn't pay attention to it. Some people miss it. They just, oh, never heard of, or something like that. Whereas pretty much everybody saw Rocky, right? So that's how Dolph. That's like the Rocky. I mean, Dark Angel was sort of a cult hit worldwide and this and that. But if you have something like Rocky, it's easier to qualify for the Expendables. So that's why Dolph is in it.
Yeah,
Um,
definitely.
it depends the producers. If they're not a fan of you or they don't think of you, you're not in it. It's how it is. It's a bit luck, right?
Definitely. And again, just kind of going back to, with your characters, you're usually the villain, right? But and obviously the story, the widower, it sounds like it's going to be sort of, you on the other side. And also from, interviewing you, I feel like I've gotten to know you obviously a lot better, right? And you're nothing like the villain roles that you play. What do you use to channel this anger and animosity? Like, where does it come from? Is it just, you being a phenomenal actor, or how do you channel that?
I don't know. That's so funny. Yeah, I don't know. No, like literally in Last Kumite, I'm such an asshole. And it's like, I don't know. It's like just there. It's foreign to me. It's literally not me. I don't know. It's just boom. It just comes to you. Like Last Kumite, I have so much dialogue. I'm talking all the time. I'm such a devilish person. And I don't know. I'm even crazy in this one. You'll see. I'm completely out there. It just I don't think about it really. So I think more about if I play the widower or something. It's there I would think more. Um, because that's a different role. You become that person. It's more me in real life as the widower than the bad guy, to be honest, because I can use all that to destroy bad people also. You know
Definitely.
what I mean?
Definitely.
So it would be very easy for me to be gentle with a young girl and all that because that's who I am. But I can get really vicious when it comes to defending someone. So hence being a bad guy and a good guy who destroys bad is pretty close. And then if you play a real evil character, yeah, I guess you just channel it, yeah.
And again, you've fought, right? You've been a part of many epic fight scenes, throughout your career, Bolo Yeung, Billy Banks. I mean, the list is on and on. But as a fan, do you have a favorite fight scene? Like when you watch a movie over the years, is there a favorite fight scene that you kind of go back to and say, hey man, that was a really cool fight scene, or that's my favorite fight scene of all time? Do you have any of those?
Yeah. Yeah, I think I liked the most was fighting with Billy Blanks,
Uh-huh, uh-huh.
in Towns of the Eagle, TC 2000, Bolo, and it was kind of funny because I'm fighting Billy Blanks, just did it again,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
there's
Nothing's
20,
changed. Nothing's changed.
20 some years in between. Unfortunately, we were fighting outside, and it was 95 degrees, and it was really hard on us, you know. I just had a knee surgery. It was, I mean, literally, come off a knee surgery on two knees, you know, and it wasn't that easy as I thought it would be, you know. But it was still feeling like the old days, to be honest. Yeah. You know, it was fun to do. But you have to understand, when I was fighting these people before, I was in the ultimate peak. When you're 30 some years old, you're untouchable. When you're 64, nearly 65, it's not quite the same. I mean, you feel like it's the same, you know, but then you're like, oh,
Different.
okay. It's a bit different, yeah. But it still feels the same. You'll see it, it's the same. But you look obviously 30 years younger when you're 30 years younger. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, I'm 35, and as much as I work out, I mean, I don't feel anything like, as I was even, 5 years ago. But I mean,
yeah.
64, right? I mean, what's the secret to you keeping in shape, right? Because I'm 35, and I don't think I can do a quarter of the fight scenes that you do. But what are some of the things that you do to still keep in shape, or any advice that you can give to folks that are, wanting
Yeah.
to stay fit?
Well, I guess you just have to stick with it. Stay mobile, work out, stretch. We all can have fun, have something to drink here and there, or
Yeah.
eat ice cream and pizza. It's just that the overall lifestyle has to somewhat be pretty regular, strict almost, you know. It's not easy. It's not easy for anybody. Um, Look, you can only be in the best shape of your life if you live like someone that is in the best shape of your life. That takes a lot of discipline. Who can do this all their life? It's tough, you know.
Yeah.
5, 6 times a day you have to eat certain amounts only. I can't even do it at the moment, you know. When you travel, it's very difficult. Uh, you know, if you see someone that looks incredible, you can count on the fact that they're in the zone, and they watch the calorie intake, the protein intake, you know, alcohol, none of this. If you want to look really like like the six-pack guy in the back here hanging there, it's a full-time job, yeah.
Definitely. And speaking, because you pointed back to the wall, I do see the Shirtless in Hollywood
Yeah,
poster, and you've
yeah.
written your own book. It's available both on the Kindle version and the paperback version. It's very easily accessible on Amazon. Anything that you can quickly share from the fans on your book? Because I definitely would recommend it for fans, and also you can get some more secrets to the success of Matthias Hues and staying in shape, but also just some more context on his background. But anything you could share around the book itself?
Yeah, the book, I mean, it was just inspired literally by having to tell the story. It is so interesting to go to Hollywood and try to make it as an actor. So incredible. The amounts of adventures you have, and misfortunes and fortunes, and people you meet, and it's not normal. It's not normal. If you really commit to it, you will have an incredible life, sort of like a roller coaster life, the real deal. When I listen, I was talking for hours and hours with Mohammed PC about their journey. I'm still that, so my book is the same, you know. He writes a book about that too. It is so interesting because it's so crazy. It's like you're watching a movie, and it feels good to tell the people the story. Maybe someone gets motivated to do it, you know, because you have an interesting life. You just have to sort of be aware of the fact that if you don't make it, wow, what else are you going to do, right? Because it takes so many years.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. When you read this book, you understand. It's so easy to just watch a movie and think, oh, there's this guy. But how did you get there? Wow, it's crazy. The competition is so huge. The world is full of athletic people, good-looking people, good actors. Who is making it? Well, I was in my time when I was working on a Goldstream, every day the door spins and someone comes in. I'm like, oh my God, where's this guy from? You know, it's
Definitely.
interesting who makes it and who doesn't make it, and what is making it, you know, and when is it over, or is it never over? You know, I'm
Definitely.
still at it like this. So, oh, it's not enough. I'm gonna forget the bad guy. Now I'm gonna do the widower, and then I'm gonna do this. I'm working on a comedy right now, uh, for Europe, just for the European market. So, and on a horror movie. On this, so many projects. You just can't stop because you always think, still not there yet, not there yet, not there yet. You know.
Yeah. One thing that I suggested to Mohammed Kisi is that, your story is like a movie, right? So you should definitely make either a movie or a documentary. And he's like, "Oh, it's funny that you mentioned that, like sounded like it was in the works." And same thing with your story as well, too. It's like, your story itself is a movie. So it'd be great to maybe see like a documentary on sort of your journey. And again,
That's
just
just Mohammed and I, we were actually talking about maybe producing Van Damme's story as a movie, because the stories are Van Damme is you have to Van Damme is like an institution, you know. He was so big, so popular. He's like let's just say the king of it all, right? So I'm the knight and he's like the king of it or something. We like if there's a round table, he would be the one sitting on top, and we are the Knights Templars. You know, he's above us, so to speak. So his success is monumental compared to ours. We are okay, but he took the holy grail of it, and so that's why it's very interesting. You know, that's why I thought I talked Mohammed to talk to Mohammed about it. And I said, "Oh, this would be really an interesting movie because people don't know. Nobody really knows how crazy his life was as well. You know, the stories are insane. So are mine. You know, yeah. How do you shoot a documentary about it? That's a good question. It's easier for Van Damme because you will find someone that looks like Van Damme easier than myself. And I think more people would be interested in Van Damme's story than my story, you know. So I said to Mohammed, man, we gotta put our heads together, you know. This is so interesting. This could be like a movie almost, you know, TV series even.
Yeah, a lot of the documentaries nowadays, they're made to kind of have a movie feel, right? So they kind of feel like a
Oh,
movie.
they do it fantastic. I mean, we all watch them, right?
Yeah.
They're so clever, so well done. It's like you watch a movie.
Again, I would love to see a documentary on JCVD and also
Yeah.
yours as well too. And again, Matthias, I want to be respectful of your time. I love the stories, and again, this is just for me as a fan to be able to hear this, from you as well, and again to kind of talk about all these exciting projects. Next year sounds like it's going to be an amazing year, right? With the Last Kumite, the Widower. I also recommend fans to grab Shirtless in Hollywood if they haven't, to kind of bridge between now and next year to kind of get caught up as well. And then again, to once we get some of these films out, definitely, I'm going to bug you to see if we can get you to come back so we can
Absolutely. I love
talk
to talk
talk more
about it.
spoilers.
Yeah,
Yep.
love to talk about it. And it's always great to talk to you. And yeah, let's do that. Let's reconvene next year. I have another film come out, Andromeda Wars. It's a sci-fi movie. Uh, should be out next year. Next year. Something like that.
And as these films come out, obviously, our channel, we always like to share. We'll also drop a link directly to your book
That
as
would be
well.
fantastic.
So yeah, we'll definitely keep the fans engaged to keep them up to date. And Matthias, just want to thank you as well for coming back to the show. Thank you for being flexible with the scheduling. Hope everything's
Thank you.
also
Thank you. Thank you.
good back home, and let's hopefully catch up when you're back in the States.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And we'll talk soon.
We'll talk soon. Thank you very much. Take care.
You too. Okay, bye.